the name's Geb. Always capping out on your tombstones? Always wanted to maximize what you can get out of them? And look no further than here. This will be a comprehensive, no-nonsense guide to converting those hard-earned tombstones into gil, gear, and collectibles. And yes, this will include the tier 2 tombstones. As of this patch, they are the tombstones of astronomy. Let's begin, shall we? First, let's cover how to optimally convert tombstones into gil. For poetics, there are actually a number of different ways you can convert gil, and these mainly fall into two categories: vendor or stable methods, and the market board methods. The only difference here is the way that you sell the materials at the end. You will always convert poetics into a sellable material, and then convert that sellable material into gil by then selling it. Starting with the stable method, the most reliable method currently is buying Goblinol or Goblin Acca. Assuming you've hit the cap of 2000 poetics, you can get up to 200 of these from the vendor for 64 gil each, netting you a total of 12,800 gil by the end of it. What's more is that if you've completed or are halfway through completing the Dome and Restoration projects, you can actually submit these as gratuity for double the amount for a total of 25,600 gil. This will help serve as a benchmark for you to compare and see if the market board methods are worth it, because obviously the prices do fluctuate. If a market board method gives out less total gil than 12,800 or 25,600, then this vendor method will be better. Moving on to the market board methods, I will go from the most to least reliable from a gil making perspective. The first being, and the one you've mostly already heard of, is buying unidentifiable shell and ore to convert into grade 3 shroud or Thanalan topsoil respectively. At 2000 poetics, this method will net you 13 shells and ores to convert. Now, on my server, the Thanalan topsoil yields better results at around 1700 gil for a grand total of 22,100. Now, as you can see, going back to the 25,600 that we mentioned previously, this doesn't quite yield up to that benchmark, so I would then go for the vendor method. But I would keep an eye on this method from time to time, as prices can shoot up for this type of soil, especially when new housing plots are released, because then more players are wanting to get into using that soil to help grow Fetharian onions. Moving on to the next market board method is converting them into gear, and then converting the gear into seals, and then from the seals into sellable items. The best way to do this is to buy the highest item level augmented gear from the last expansion. In this case, it will be the augmented Crypt Lurker gear. To be most efficient, you will need to buy 11 shields, as the amount of seals you can get out of each piece of gear remains the same no matter how expensive the gear is from a poetic standpoint. This will leave you with 150 poetics remaining, and 11 pieces of gear, which convert it from one piece of gear to 1,778 seals, for a total of 19,558 seals. Now with these, you can spend them on either 32 grade 8 dark matter, 39 cordials, 97 glamour prisms, 97 coke, or 3 king cakes. King cakes are used generally for the relic weapons from A Realm Reborn. Sadly, these prices can fluctuate a bit, both from a guild price and how frequently they sell, so I can't really ever give you a specific pinpoint as to how much these are worth. So again, do your own research and use that benchmark of 12,800 or 25,600 to help guide you on whether or not it is worth it on your server. Next, this method, while similar to the gear into seals method, is a little bit of a gamble, and that's converting the seals into material containers 3 and 4.0. These offer a wide variety of sellable minions, and even the rare chance at a collection of mounts which often go for over 1 million gil. Sadly, these do cost quite a lot of seals at 20,000 each, so unless you don't mind making slightly less gil and you're a bit of a collector of sorts, then go for this method, but don't go in with the expectation of making bank off of this. This is mainly for you to collect minions, and if you've already got those minions, you can then sell them on the market board for a decent amount of money. Lastly, To cover off the tier 2 tomestones, there really only is one method to convert them directly into gil, and that is making them into crafting materials like Razatan. Personally, I would recommend you go for the ones which cost 20 each, as they tend to go for way more gil than the 10, so each tomestone to gil ratio tends to be a lot higher for the 20 cost rather than the 10 cost. This happens at least on my server. Again, please do your research before making that decision, as my server obviously isn't the same as everybody else's. You may find that the 10 costs do have a better return for gil per tombstone spent. And that's it from me. I just want to say as a bit of an aside, my first guide actually did so well that I actually got over 100 subs from it. So a massive special thank you to all of you. I really do mean it. I was honestly expecting that sort of guide to bring in tens of views, maybe hundreds of views, let alone thousands. So I'm really, really blown away by all this. However, I know it's still early days, so if there's anything I missed, or you think there's anything I can improve on, or even suggestions for other guides, please do let me know in the comments. I love to hear from you guys as to all the different suggestions that you've got. If you do want to see more guides like this, please do also give it a thumbs up. It really lets me know that you guys do like this sort of stuff. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, you're still here? Well, thanks for sticking to the end. Big hugs from me.